Greetings! Welcome to the devlog for Alpha 1 of Update 113 of Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades. We're going to start, as always, with a quick sound check. Make sure your speakers aren't up too high. Come on. There we go. Wonderful. Minus one shot that missed there. So what have we got for you this week? Well, I have finally gotten another level into the game. It's not quite done yet. There's some more things that I want to do on it, but this is ready for you folks to play with today. So this was, I believe I called this Sand Trap at one time. This has been renamed to the Duney range, in part because I honestly had forgotten that there was already a very well-known game level called Sand Trap and wanted something of my own. So what is this space? This is a bit of an experiment in a bunch of ways, and it is paired with all of the work that we have put into scope stuff in the game. It is the largest spatially level in the game, albeit very, very sparse to keep things very performance friendly. It is designed for ultra long range shooting, although as you can see down here in the center of it, this is not where we spawn by default. I needed to come down here to do the sound check, that we have a pistol bay here. There are target shelves here at 10, 25, 50, 100, and 200 meters, as well as a couple pistols here for you to shoot with. Incidentally, one of the things that is in this update this week is some fixes to the way that scopes automatically zero. Basically, anyone who tried to use, say, the revolver scope before noticed that it just wasn't hitting anywhere near where it was supposed to. And the reason for that is that to actually make the irons work on things like on revolvers, I had to slightly alter the rotation of the muzzle for them in a way that just was not being responded to correctly via the scopes. Anyway, enough talking, more shooting. Let's go ahead and hit let's hit one of our gongs here at 100 meters. The gong has been modified, by the way. It is now audible from a significantly further distance. It was on the I think it was just on the long-range sound pooling option, which only goes out to about 250 meters. It is now on the very long-range pool, so those will actually be, albeit quietly, hearable all the way out to like 2,500 meters. Pop this on. What do you zero to? A couple of these, I should honestly increase the zero distance on, because this only goes out to to 100. So we're gonna have to shoot a little high. I think we're hitting him. Let's try this one. I can't actually tell if we're still hitting low, because this scope, as I said, is only 0 for 100. Let's try to hit a gong. Let's aim a little high. Too high. Oh, nothing. See, that's why I got to fix the zero on that. Obviously easier with this one, I think. Yeah, this will at least go out to 150. I think we should be able to still hit the gong at 200. This might be a mechanic. Oh, there we go. I might have actually just been shooting way too high. Any hoozles. Enough of that. So as I said, this is all laid out here. Let's dump all of our pistols here. Actually, we'll just throw them in the destructive bin. Perfect. I have grabbed one of our hand copters, which spawn by default in the scene to help you get around. Let's head over to our shooting tower. Beautiful. So yes, level is massive. We'll get up in the air in a little bit, and I'll explain the whole size of it for those of you who like to do strange things up in the air, or honestly, a whole bunch of this has definitely been designed knowing some of the baddie stuff that you modder folk get up to. But let's grab ourselves an MRAD, something designed for long-range shooting. Let's crank that up there. Let's grab our rangefinder. Beautiful. Let's keep our hand copter. And, yeah, that should do it. You could, of course, climb the stairs. But I much prefer to do that. So over here at the tower, we have this is our rifle bay, and I have set this up part as a test and part as a challenge to those of you who I know who engage in ultra long range shooting. The way this is set up is that we have target plinths, only some of which are filled by default, but you can of course lay your own targets down and save a scenario in case you have not played with that section of the wrist menu. But this defaults to 100. So there's our targets there. Oh, come on, there we go. To 100 meters, and it goes basically every 100. So here, let's get ourselves a shot up at 500. Anton's gonna embarrass himself doing this live. Let's see. Yep. Oh, that's 600. So we need to be further over to the right. That's 700, 900, 500. There we go. Bammo! And of course, this set goes all the way out to our base zero maximum, which is 1,000. Here we go. Do 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 do. Oh, that should have hit. That was just a little high and to the right. Oh, come on. Still to the right. Mechanical accuracy is a factor at this distance, but I think I might just be missing still. Boom! There we go. I'll take it. Shoulder hit. Third try is a charm. For those of you who are fine with manually zeroing your scopes past this 1,000 meter limit, using the elevation knobs and probably using our sort of locking plinth for it, there are even further target plinths from the tower. This one is at 1,500. Let's find it. This one is at 2,000 from the tower. And then all the way back out here, we have one at 3,000. We can still just barely read that. Let's pull our zoom all the way up. And then here is one at 4,000. Now, technically, I think there's only one or two rounds in the game that can even make it that distance. I honestly do not know if any of the guns in the game have sufficient mechanical precision to be able to hit those targets. And so, for those of you who are into long-range shooting, I am issuing the following challenge, which is stand here in this tower and hit these at these various ranges. I want to see video of it. I want to see which tool you end up using, or set of tools, to manage to land a hit. Remember, you can use the spectator camera as well if you want to like set one up looking at. But I put destructible targets out there specifically so that it is more obvious if you actually manage to get a hit. So yeah, beyond that, let's drop down here. I actually wanted to I was originally going, I put this in the scene in part because I wanted to do something fun for heading down to the pistol bay. This scene, because of the scale of it, this has been sort of like a broad spectrum test for H3 for Unity, actually. This is larger of a scene than it is generally recommended that you make because of something called floating point precision. Basically, every number that's being stored here to draw things, for simulation, for physics, only has a certain number of decimal places that it can assign to that value. And so as those numbers get big on one side of the decimal point, they get less precise on the other. And so this is actually a big enough scene that you run into some of those issues at the periphery. Let's give ourselves a grappling shot down to there. Do. Oh, did I not? I didn't even spawn lock that. Oh, of course I didn't. Oh well, we'll just leave you there. And then we'll grab our grappling hook and click down on our touchpad and just take ourselves a relaxing stroll across this grappling line. As I said, the scene is large, and it is basically broken into two regions to make it efficient enough to draw and to make the physics efficient enough. There is an inner area, which we've been in the entire time, which is about 3 kilometers by 3 kilometers. And then there is an outer ring that is mainly there to be a sort of skybox wrap. But as I said, I know some folks who do mod stuff or just want to put together weird scenarios might make use of that space. And I honestly just wanted to see how it would work and if things broke being that big. Because some folks asked, there's one other little decorated spot over here, which I had shown off ages ago. Perfect. But yes, the little fountain that I made quite a long time ago is in fact over here. So if you wish to just hang out and do some shooting next to the relaxing sound of this fountain, it is here as well. There's also one or two little Easter eggs hidden out amongst the dunes if you want to go searching for those. I figured I should, just to give you a better idea of the scale at play here. Let's see, if that's 1,000, then I would say that we're probably about 1,500 or 1,700 meters from the tower. And yes, I put a gong up there for you to also try to shoot at from other locations. Let's just get a better vantage point here. And we'll just turn that off. So there, you can see the sort of square area. This is the center part of the level that is more detailed physics-wise and with denser geo. A number of ramps to get you back up onto it, and a much larger surround wrap. As you can see, our draw distance is actually set far enough to be able to see the whole level, and that is another thing that I wanted to experiment with this, because that can oftentimes cause all sorts of rendering issues. Shadows do behave a little strangely when you're out in the periphery. If you notice other sorts of behavior that is weird, whether it's like scope zeroing or the way that certain physical objects function far away from the center of the scene, I would love to know, just for academic reasons. As I said, I've stayed away from ever just making a level this spatially large because the general consensus amongst developers is weird stuff starts to break. But I figured I would do so now just because, I don't know, I just had the impulse to. Alrighty, so there you go for this week. Well, let me jump out of VR and I'll just talk about what else I'm popping in this level next week before we end up pushing all the way to main branch for our scope update. Yo! So, out of VR, what else is going on? So, we are close to done with the scope update. There's a few more that need to go in. Basically, the last ones that need to be implemented for this update were just ones that I need to write some custom code for, and I sort of ran out of time because I really got into sort of working on this level, testing it, benchmarking it, trying to figure out like if it performance hitches in certain contexts, what exactly is causing that. Obviously, there still needs to be a little bit of work done for it. Like right now, there's some objects that I should or could LOD so that they aren't necessarily drawing when you're thousands and thousands of meters away. At the same time, it's a map that is geared to ultra long range shooting. So it's one of those things that if you could conceivably see it through a 36x or a 48x scope, I kind of want that object to be visually present. And that's part of the reason why I decided to keep the level really sparse in general, is that I want to ensure that if you want to set yourself up like a really complex target course or something like that, or I know some folks really love building things with the various barriers and boards and blocks and things like that. I want to make sure that you can put a lot of those objects in the scene before it begins to run poorly. So I hope I'm now on a really, really good dev machine compared to say last year around this time. So I don't actually have as good a barometer anymore for how well something runs. So I would really love some feedback from folks who are used to running the game at various quality settings, how well this scene runs in its default configuration with all those targets loaded, but also like after hitting the clear button and removing those objects at various tiers of CPU and GPU combo, just because that's a useful barometer for me for creating future things. So yeah, and then the last major thing that I really want to add to the scene is something akin to what Grillhouse has, which is the Grillhouse has this wonderful little custom panel that makes it very easy and fast to just jump in and do some SOSIG combat with. And I would like to do that for this scene without having to necessarily do a ton of really bespoke work on just this scene. So I have some ideas on a type of SOSIG combat panel that would automatically or like automagically work in pretty much any outdoor scene that I've been working on some notes for in my notebook that I want to try to build in the next week. Just to polish it off so that if someone wants to just jump into the scene, spawn their favorite rifle, pick up the SOSIG combat panel and get fighting, that can be a like 20 seconds and then you can go in it, so that it isn't just a target sandbox, even though it is mainly structured as one, but can still be a cool sort of like outdoor space to play with in a more combat oriented way. So cool. So that just about does it for this week. I look forward to your feedback, and I look forward to seeing some sick videos of some of you making utterly impossible shots, especially those of you who are running a higher pixel density HMD than I am at this point. So I look forward to hearing it. So have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon. Peace.